information?
I'd like to make a comment about the information we've asked from Lane. I think in thinking back over what Lane said when he summarized this, he may have been thinking that we're requesting that he expand the numbers, looking back to elementary students that are coming up rather than basing this on current 9th through 12th grade students just for that one option because it's the one that came closest.
Right.
And I personally think that it's too soon to limit our exploration to that one option. I think I don't have a problem with eliminating options that are really not going to do it, but I think that there's a concern certainly in my mind about the distance between those students who live north of the interstate and attendance at Southeast. So I think given that serious drawback of that one option that does give us the right number, that to me indicates that it's too soon to limit our serious look at these to just that one option.
Okay. So
many of the kids would be included in the same building blocks anyway, so.
I'm sorry?
It won't be that much additional work.
Oh, right.
So we have a meeting on the 28th. And then we have meetings on the 11th and the 25th. Should we put this on the agenda as a work session for the 28th? Or do we want to put it on the open meeting agenda? I'm just tossing that out there as an option.
I think we definitely need a work session. At some point, I think we need a work session to have the discussion about it.
I know this is not this agenda item, it's the next agenda item, but
Right.
To me, I guess a little bit of that decision involves what our plan is going to be for getting community input. So work session doesn't involve community input, which may be fine if we have, but I don't think I want to wait until next month to start hearing more from, now that these scenarios are out there, to hearing more from the community.
And if we have it as a work session, we won't have community input.
Right.
True. The other.
I don't know what you're planning as a communication committee.
I don't, and I would say my input to that would also be, I'm not sure that I have enough information, and not knowing what's coming down with the next round of information, enough to have a work session. I think I need more information first before a work session, because I think work session
depends on how soon we get the information that we're asking.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing just a board meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Not just, but a board meeting.
Board meeting.
Okay, and we'll put this on the agenda, the information from Lane. Any other things that you need, that you want to know, get to Lane?
Mhm.
Yeah, Mike?
Well, just one, as we talk about, because I thought we were going to see finance stuff tonight, but my
Make sure
second
you get
question is
finance.
when we do,
Kim's all over it.
I'd like to know, well, I'd like us to baseline back to January when we said we couldn't afford it. I mean, I really, really want to understand
Sure.
the phenomena that's different. I mean, so, yep, I understand it works. We all are convinced we can do it.
Patty, why don't we go ahead and have you, do you want me to share that? Jan was the one person who took the minutes from the communication committee.
Minutes, so.
We did meet though, and we talked about options for getting input, and I think pretty much decided that we needed, if we were going to have forums, we needed to wait till after the first week of school.
Yeah, so that families would be back in the community,
Mm-hmm.
as well as, I don't know, we also, I think, need to have a set, I guess, at this point, at least some more concrete direction of where we're looking, what we're contemplating, to set out for forums also. If we have such a really large kind of target area, it's really hard then, I think, for families to really zero in on these are the core issues that we're wrestling with. Also, we know that we also talked about having these plans, options, scenarios, whatever we want to call them, run past the facility, or the high school enrollment committee.
Right, which is another next
At the
step,
high school
yeah.
advisory committee. So that also would be helpful information before we, again, pull it out there. So, yeah, we talked about those different timeframes. So we were looking at having those forums after school started so that families would have ample opportunity to participate.
Okay.
That being said, I don't know if there's any way to tap into what Julie had talked about in terms of getting anything at all, any kind of dialogue at all going with those families that are directly impacted until that time. I don't know.
Well, I know we've received emails from parents who are concerned because they haven't had a chance to have their PTO have a chance to know or, meet with Dr. Pluggy, like other PTOs had the chance to meet with Dr. Pluggy and get more information. So they felt that was a disadvantage also. So I think that those are valid points, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we do have to deal with the timing of this, given the fact that this is summer and we are where we are now with it, but certainly we're going to have to take that into consideration. So if we're tentatively saying, that gives us a couple of board meetings to talk about this as a board. I think we can maybe tentatively look at the week of the 24th as beginning to have some specific forums. We talked about the option of looking at September 1st
As a work session.
as a work session,
It would be an added meeting in
an added
September.
meeting the first of September.
I think that's
So-
a good idea.
So I'm trying to understand, are we backing off from our original timeline? Because one of the things that I understood in the two scenarios that we have is even if we don't do the literal boundary change, there would be moving ninth grade students or doing something with the ninth grade students to address the capacity issues. Is that something that is part of this discussion that we're going to have, that we want to have the forum?
I think that we talked about a possible decision timeline for August 25th at the last meeting. Was that what you were mentioning?
Right.
But one of the things that in the discussion of the communications committee that we talked about, and again, our minutes, it's hard to tell you that, was that because school starts on the Thursday before that they wouldn't necessarily have opportunity for families all to be in the area to give input. So really isn't feasible to make a decision at the board meeting on August 25th.
So the implication of that is that we
That's our
would
recommendation.
effectively not be changing anything for the
Well,
10 school year.
No, well, no, we just, there wasn't going to be a change made that would affect 2009, 2010, which is this fall. But we were trying to make this decision so that families would have enough time
Okay.
to adjust for the next school year.
Okay. I want to make sure, because maybe I just read it wrong, so, okay.
Okay. So we will put that back, so that'll give us a couple meetings, and then but I just would like directors to consider marking off September 1 as a work session,
I think that's a good idea.
if that can be after we've had some public input. And I would encourage people to continue to send your emails. We do get them. It's very difficult to respond to all of them, but we do get them eventually. But certainly also, we can put Dr. Pluggy is available to talk to you as well about information that you might want or need, or Dr. Bailey as you talk about this in your communities and in your schools. The
And
other,
I'm sorry, before we go, what's the best way to talk about the format of the work session? Should we just talk about that, wait to talk about that later? Because I'm concerned.
September 1 work
Yeah,
session?
September 1.
I think
work
later.
session.
Yeah.
We can have some time.